Best party ever so far. That's what everyone's been saying, so.
The cops pretty much hated me. They wanted to make an example of me.
So the money that you made from Big Brother
Gone.
went to lawyers and you still ended up in jail.
2 cop cars rock up, guns drawn, lights, everything. Cops raided the whole joint like it was like a SWAT team, bro. Helicopters, everything. No, I wasn't arrested. I did nothing wrong. It was the wrong person. You grow up thinking the cops are meant to protect and serve you, yet they left me for dead because I had a party.
All right, welcome back to Danny Rants. My next guest needs no introduction. If you don't know who he is, you've been living under a rock, so please pop out from underneath it. Number 1 party boy of Australia, probably, arguably, at the moment. If things keep going the way I want him to, he might come down to number 2, but it's no other than Corey Worthington. How are you, bro?
Hey, how you going, man? Good. Thanks for having me.
That's all right, man. Thanks for coming down. You've come all out from Geelong?
Yeah, man. Come out for Geelong.
You've left the southeastern suburbs?
Yeah, I moved over to Geelong. Mrs. fell pregnant and everything, and just it felt like the right move. Like she had family over there and everything, sisters and all that kind of stuff. I'd already had kids, and I, sold up over there and moved down here and haven't looked back.
You like it down there?
It's a different change, bro, to be honest. Like I had a lot of, I guess, good and bad times over on that side, so a lot of reminders of different things. So it was just good to get away and just have a different change of scenery, you would say.
100%. So how long have you been down there for?
I don't know. It's been since like 2021. I'm not very good with dates. 2021, 2022, roughly.
Okay, cool. So you're recently down there.
So a few years, yeah. A few years I moved there.
I know I've talked to you about this, but basically the format of my show is that we don't dwell into other things. So your party, everyone knows about it, right? So I'm going to brush over it. The party was in 2008. 2008. And how old were you at the time?
I was 16, but turning 17 a month later.
Okay, cool. So 16.
So 16, yes.
Effectively, you ran a party that went viral, and it was arguably maybe the first thing that ever went viral online. It was MySpace, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was MySpace.
Yeah.
So everyone knows the event. If you don't, you can Google it. You can watch it on YouTube. There's a million fucking different variations. So I don't want to talk about that today. What I want to talk about is, I guess, firstly, I was going to introduce how you and I know each other. So for people that don't know, again, you can Google it. I was actually the first promoter who spoke to Corey after the event. And we were working on an underage event called Not So Nary. And then eventually you went and worked with a guy called Max Markson.
Yeah.
And then we sort of moved on. But we kind of continued to touch base throughout the last 15 years via different people, connections or networks, and bumped into each other multiple times over the last decade. And now we're back and talking to one another and working on some shit kind of in the background, right?
I can't wait.
Yeah, same. Obviously when you ran that party, right, and you were in Big Brother, you had all these opportunities, everything was fucking going nuts for you, right? There was the Project X stuff, there was everything. MTV was hitting you up, and then you sort of, what I would say, disappeared. So for most people I know when I talk about you, a lot of them go like, oh, did he disappear? Or did he have his 15 minutes of fame? But what people don't know is that you didn't disappear. You actually went to jail for the event that you did, right? Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, pretty much. For that, the cops pretty much hated me. They wanted to make an example of me. I think there was someone who got charged in UK at the time, first person ever in the world to be charged for throwing a party. They tried to amplify that law and bring it over to us. So I spent over, I think, $50,000 to $60,000 on lawyers and everything to keep me out of all juvie, because I guess I was a juvenile then. Still ended up in juvie. Honestly, Max hired them. I don't know what happened with them. Like, what are my Meggetto lawyers and all that kind of stuff? No offense, they were expensive as for what court cases. And I was a minor. So between whoever was managing the money, it was gone. So I ended up in juvie, found out, hey, Corey, you're in juvie. All your Big Brother money, gone.
No shit. So the money that you made from Big Brother went to lawyers and you still ended up in jail.
Yeah, so I got out of Big Brother and I think it was, so pretty much, I'll step back. I went on to Big Brother, and the cops tried to take me to court and everything to try to stop me from going on Big Brother. The judge pretty much went, why are we here in some sense? One judge who finally had my back and went, he's on a 24-hour show. He's being filmed all the time.
Under surveillance.
Where's he going to go? But the cops just, once again, hated me, just kept wanting to make an example of me. So I think 2 weeks later, I was at my friend's house. Cops raided the whole joint like it was like a SWAT team, bro. Helicopters, everything, just for one blow.
So this is 2 weeks after Big Brother?
This is 2 weeks after Big Brother, because they also put a 6 o'clock curfew on me. So I had no one knows that. I was meant to be at home at 6 p.m. after the party. For, I think it was like a year, they tried to keep it on me. 6 p.m. at home. You're a 16-year-old kid, as if you're going to follow that sort of thing. So after Big Brother, I'd been living with a mate. I didn't go back home where I was meant to be for my curfew. And yeah, with the other sort of charges and other stuff, what just happened because of the party, cops just come in hard. And then 6 months of my life just went.
So you spent 6
down.
months in juvie after that?
Yeah.
How was that?
Honestly, like it was fine. It was bullshit. You were there and everything, but like juvie's juvie. Like honestly, they gave you fucking bacon and eggs on Sunday. You had a gym. You had this. You had your own room. It wasn't as bad, but it was bullshit that I shouldn't have been there.
Yeah, totally.
And I got locked up for.
If anybody else had done the same thing and it hadn't gone viral and made the news, they wouldn't have gone to juvie.
The judge belittled me, bro. The judge was literally, I'm going to make an example. I can't remember the words he called me, but things the judges aren't allowed to say. He said to me he hated me, make an example out of me. Then I come back in 3 months' time for another sentence, and then boom, he goes, nah, you're back in again. Then after the 6 months, I prayed. I've never prayed or anything, never like that. I'm not really a God sort of person, anything like that. But I just said, you know what? There's something out there. I don't deserve to be here. Let me out. That day, he called in sick. I had a lady judge, and she just goes, Corey, you're out, so on and so forth. I can't see why you're here. And yeah, I got out.
So why do you think that they had such an issue with you? Like, obviously, I know you've been attacked by the media and I'm guessing by police. You continue to have issues with the police.
Yes.
So I know from our conversations that you still get pulled over. They still sort of harass you from time to time. Why do you think the police and the media hated you so much for basically this mistake?
I think it's because I never took off my sunglasses. They're a bit upset on these. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's what it was. But people don't realise they camped at front of my parents' house for 2 weeks. 2 weeks straight. No one knows that. So tent, caravan, everything. They were out legally. I don't know how the council allowed that to happen, but they were camped at front of my parents' house. So they had to get my little sister. They had to jump over fences and neighbours to get into their own house because they couldn't walk through that front door. It was disgusting what they were treated. And once again, I didn't do that first famous interview everybody knows until about 3 or 4 days later, until they were still at front of my house. I would just try to walk to Coles and they would, oh, Corey, please interview, please.
Yeah.
Until finally, I think 3rd or 4th day, I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's go. And I went to Channel 9 and I recorded it. But funnily enough, they had already snuckily got my parents a recording in Queensland and tried to make it, oh, bad boy Corey. But I was 16.
Yeah, you're a little kid, yeah.
I had a party, mate. You guys camped at front of my house. You guys blew it up.
And that's the thing, I know we've talked about this in depth over many, many hours, but I always find it, especially as a dad now, I've got kids, and man, I went to parties, no disrespect to your party, they were probably wilder. Like I went to parties where I grew up where there was 500 people, 16 punch-ons, all kinds of shit was going on. The only difference was that kid didn't wear a pair of sunglasses and talk to the news, right? That stuff was happening regularly, and you would have saw it too.
100%. I've been to many of them myself, bro. Even other crazy ones as well. The fact is, the Sunnies sold it, and I'll always say this: the news. January, boring, nothing's happening.
True.
There's no shows, no nothing. And I still remember to this day, as soon as the coppers pepper sprayed people at the tennis and it went like that into the crowd and everyone else got pepper sprayed, boom, I was off. I was there for 2 weeks, Channel 7, Channel 10, Channel 9, everything, newspapers, front page, all that. As soon as that pepper spray happened, they had something else to talk about.
Yeah,
they
totally.
left me alone for a while. But for the last 15 years, however long it's been, they just keep bringing it up and bringing it up and bringing it up.
And always in a negative light, right?
Yeah, always in a negative light. They don't know me. They haven't got to know me.
They don't know your story. And
no,
what
they don't
impact
know
it's
my
had.
story.
Yeah, it's misfortunate, right? Like the fact that a 16-year-old boy has basically been thrusted into the spotlight without any media training or anything like that, and then just been basically mistreated for the last 15 years. But that's another thing in itself. And I guess it's going to probably lead to another thing I want to talk about after. But when you went through that process and you were actually in juvenile hall, was it easy? Were you with the Gen Pop and stuff, or was it?
Yeah, you're with other people.
So
and
they didn't try to keep you away or anything.
No,
like that?
you're with other people and all that, and it was just, I don't know,
Another
bro.
day
It
in
was so long ago, but it was just, yeah, I just kept to myself, made friends. It was funnily enough because I was on Big Brother and I was still watching, like I was like just off Big Brother, but I was still watching the season of Big Brother I was on. And funnily enough, I went over to Queensland and everything, and I met up with someone else. We went over and had a bit of a party and all that kind of stuff. His name was Cherry. He ended up somehow, I used his ID to get into an underage club. I mean, not underage club, sorry, a club over there, and then got caught. Cops knew because I was just in Big Brother. Pulled me out of the club, smacked me on the head, arrested me, threw me in Queensland, lock up for the night or whatever. But that Cherry, literally 2 weeks later, he was on Big Brother as an intruder. So it was trippy, bro. Like the guy used fake ID and all that sort of stuff. Next second,
I'm not connected.
No, we weren't connected at all. I met him through, he was just with some girls. I was with some girls. We met. I go, bro, I'm like 18. these people think I'm 18. Like, I'm trying to get in here. Like, what are we doing? And he goes, here, use my ID. And he gave me his ID, sick cunt. So I used his ID and but everyone
That's
coming
funny
up to me in the club
fuck.
going, yo, Corey, we just watched you on Big Brother. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And then obviously because of that, people knew I was a minor, ripped me out. And but
So was it good and like the attention? Obviously, when you first got it, would have been good and bad. So did you get a lot of bad attention? Obviously, you got bad attention from the media and the police, but like, what about the public? Were they like kind of loving it, or was it both ways?
It was both ways, bro. Like it just depended on who wanted to come at me for what reasons. If you got to know me, I'm a good person, you know what I mean? But it's just those people just didn't get to know me and were judging me off something they seen off the news in some sense and went for it. So
It's sort of bad timing, hey, because like you look at now and there's guys like you got Logan Paul, you've got even my business partner Troy Candy, you got all these guys and they get to own their own narrative on their own platforms where you didn't. So you were basically a character that the media created and then the police sort of enforced and they basically got to decide who you were and you got to have no say in it, right? And then in this day and age now, there's all these different platforms like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. If the times were now, your journey would have been a completely different story because they wouldn't have been able to make you out to be this young, boisterous villain that they did.
Yeah.
So off that, I know that, again, I'm privy to the information of your life because obviously we've had detailed and massive discussions.
Yeah.
So there was an incident that you've had, and I know you're pretty passionate about your recovery on it, where you ended up breaking your foot.
Heel bone, yeah.
Your
heel bone.
Your heel bone.
Yeah.
So do you want to sort of run through that? And what I was going to touch on is that I know that the reason why we get to this point and why I think it's important and part of your story to highlight is that I know that the mistrust from the media and the mistrust from the police sort of is what fires this and takes you into this second part of your journey, which is this massive injury, which has fucked the last 6 years of your life, to my understanding.
Yep. Yeah, well, so pretty much I was out. I'll pretty much run you through the story. My mate was an up-and-coming rapper. I said, I'm not very good at social media, but I told him, mate, at the end of the day, you have to post on social media. Everybody knows, so I was helping him, funnily enough, record on social media and do things for his rap things. I had a good night. I went, you know what? I'm going to record some stuff for me. Hey, guys, had a good night. Fucking going to start posting on social media. Next second, 2 cop cars rock up. Guns drawn, lights, everything. He's got the knife. He's got the knife. Boom. I'm holding, so imagine a tripod camera, the black and white ones, looks like anal beads.
Yeah, I was about to say the butt plug ones.
Simple as that, brother. That's what it looks like, anal beads. So that, I was like, fuck, boom, with all my history of cops pulling me over, ended up in juvie, all the other history I've had with them.
I can imagine in that point,
I was just run.
I can imagine in that point when they've got guns drawn, you've only been mistreated. You've never been treated well by them.
No way.
I can understand that your thought process would have been like, I need to get the fuck out of here because the media's going to come. I'm going to get looked at. I'm going to get painted like a bad guy again. So even though you've done nothing wrong, I'm assuming that you're just like, I need to get out of here.
I was in a singlet, tats obviously, so I don't know why they picked on me or whatever, but I just ran, bro. I ran, tried to get away. I was real quick, but then ran up these stairs. Usually you can get across to go to the other side.
Where were you again?
Frankston.
Yeah.
So I was near Frankston Library, over the top of that library bit up the top. I got the balcony, a big balcony. I looked down and thought I can make it down to another platform.
Bit of parkour?
And yeah, I was doing ninja at the time. And once again, these guys are running up with the gun. He's got the thing. And I'm just like, oh, shit. Looked over, didn't think, and just sort of jumped. And then just went straight down. Didn't realize, woo. And then just bang.
How far you reckon it was?
Oh, over 2 stories, easy.
Fuck,
Yeah.
wow.
And I crushed this. I thought it was my ankle at the time and everything. I kept trying to run away, obviously. I landed on my feet, funnily enough, and was like crushed. Like it felt like jelly trying to run.
Yeah.
It was bad. And the next second, cops grab me, throw me to the ground. Where's the knife? Arrest me, put the handcuffs behind my back. We know you've got this. What's that? They shoved my tripod in my face. I hear one officer say to the most aggressive one, he was the most aggressive one out of all of them, say, it's a tripod for filming and everything. So even he knew what it was.
Yeah.
We know you've got the knife. Then I had a phone wallet. He whipped out my IDs and everything, cash. Why have you got so much cash? What, $200 I had on me? Ooh, so much cash. Yeah, well, fuck me. And anyway, grab my ID. Then he goes, Corey Worthington. Boys, it's Corey Worthington. I bet there was about 6 to 8 coppers then.
And you're sitting on the ground with the broken heel.
I'm busted, bro. They've handcuffed me and I'm on the ground and everything. And then they end up grabbing me. Corey, here. Throw me on this concrete thing and go, how's your party, mate? Whack. How's your party going?
10 years later, obviously.
Yeah,
Maybe
pretty
8,
much,
whatever.
bro. Yeah, about 10 years later.
And they
so
still
the
fucking
cop
hold
would have
on
been
to it.
around my age and they were belittling me over having a party,
When you were 16.
questioning me over the knife. everything like that. I told them, I've got no knife. I've got no, why did you run? Because you drew weapons on me, mate. I fucking ran because of that. Don't do that. Like, once again,
I'm guessing the fact is that you've never had a really great relationship with them too.
Exactly. And then anyway, so they end up, it was a PSO officer who was supposedly going to get stabbed or something. So they had contacted them through radio, found out different ethnic, different clothes the person was wearing, total different to me altogether.
Didn't fit the
yet they
description.
picked on me because I was in a singlet and tats and I had a lot of fucking anal bead tripod on my hand. Like, what? Like, you know what I mean? So anyway, after they unarrested me, told me, yeah, we're letting you go, Corey, I begged for help because I was fucked. I needed help to get to the hospital. These cops are belittling me, still going, Corey, we're not helping you. We don't believe you're injured. Yet I have one of the worst calcaneal fractures doctors have ever seen. My podiatrist, osteo, physio, all are like renowned for their work, and all said, Corey, yours is one of the worst we've ever seen. We've studied about like fractures like yours. It was completely, doctor said, imagine a chocolate bar and a hammer, smash that chocolate bar as hard as you can with the hammer. That was your heel bone.
And so when the police left you, they didn't arrest you, did they?
No, I wasn't arrested. I did nothing wrong. It was the wrong person. So once again, and they left me. So I've got some footage. I would love to show that later. And like I got at my phone after picking up all my wallet and my keys and everything I could get. What they just scattered everywhere. I'm on my stomach at this point too, crawling because this was just shattered into nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, help me. Nah, Corey, fuck you. You're not telling the truth. And then I just got some recording to prove I done nothing wrong.
So they just left you there?
They just left me there, bro. So once again, you grow up protecting and serve, thinking the cops are meant to protect and serve you, yet they left me for dead because I had a party. Simple as that. I was injured 100% because anyone would know someone jumping off over 2 stories down onto concrete is going to be injured. And once again, once you found out that person wasn't the person you were after, help them.
Yeah, for sure.
Help them. Don't try to like literally go, oh, Corey, yeah, you fucking party, mate.
Yeah, it blows my mind. Hey, like
that's disgusting.
Yeah, it blows my mind. It just blows my mind that if anyone else, it's a 16-year-old kid or something, you're a full-grown adult and you're still having these battles with these same people over something that is as simple as you didn't take your glasses off. Yeah, and it's wild to me.
Bro, they would pull me over in Pakenham. So when I lived in Pakenham at one stage, they'd pull me over because Packy had the most cops there or whatever, training, everything. They'd pull me over for no reason, going, hey, Corey, we heard you lived here. Oh, we want to search your car. That many times I had to get them to call my lawyer or pretend, hey, call my lawyer, go on. If you want to search my car, they would harass me just for that, just pull me over because I lived in an area.
Do you ever think about what would have happened or what life would have been without that?
Yes and no, but it's been that thrust because I was 16.
You just don't know no different, right?
No, you don't know any different. Because once again, when you're 16, you got to remember that's when you're ready to party. That's when you start probably drinking. You start doing this. You start to.
It's the beginning of your like adult life.
Yes,
sort of thing,
yes, and you start to get your learners. You start to get respected more as becoming an adult. And fuck, bro, my whole thing just went boom.
Yeah, true.
Like I can't. It's a lot of things I've blocked out too because a lot of bad things have happened and everything. But yeah, it was a crazy whirlwind of a ride, and it was definitely mismanaged. 100%
for sure.
Mismanaged. For people to still talk about it till today, and the news to still put me in there and everything else, and I still think things on TikTok, YouTube, people commenting things, people saying stuff to this day. I have people message me about things, about Project X. It's crazy. It's just...
What is the Project X story? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, of course. So the Project X was...
obviously everyone knows that it was based on your party, but was there conversations and stuff or no?
Yeah, so I had conversations not with the directors, with the news people who were in contact with them at the time as well. And they say, hey, Corey, the party's based on this. We've spoken to those people out there. Would you like to do some interviews on it? And at the time I was like, yeah, it could be a good idea. But also I was like, no, because it's just giving the news, once again, what they want and what will they spin on it or whatever.
Every time you did do something for them, they always try to make you look like a bad person.
Yeah, that's it. So I just never did anything. I wish Project had contacted me and said, hey, let's do this because, yeah, based on like a party what an Australian kid did and it made it into a Hollywood movie, it was cool.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
I think that's cool.
That guy made screens and screens off it, but he didn't have to use it because you couldn't own the IP of an incident that you had.
No,
when you were a
100%.
kid, right?
But funnily enough, if people watch it at the end with the credits, there's a guy, sunnies. They aren't yellow, but it's the throwback to me. Hoodie on, sunnies, and all that, and that's the ha-ha throwback to the person with the news and everything.
So a lot of people made money off your story, but you, obviously, when you went to jail, you kind of came back out, and I know that you had the injury and you had all this sort of stuff, but you've sort of taken a step back, and you live, from what my understanding is a pretty simple, normal life, right? By choice, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been stuffed so many times. I've just worked. I've been doing concreting, steel fixing. Like last 6 months, I've had off because I've just worked for I think 7 years, and I got my long service leave. So I just took some time off, looked after my daughter, and just had a bit of a break and everything.
But even with that, you're still constantly getting offers. So one of the things I'd love to talk about, and I don't know the answer to this question, but what kind of offers what's some of the biggest offers you've ever had, and what's some of the offers that you're still sort of getting now?
Well, some of them is obviously to tell my story, which you and I we're working on.
We're working
on now.
Yep.
But there's lots of and I've got offered Netflix many times from all pretty much. You can think of the best docos what have been out on Netflix from all the different ones. They've all wanted to do something and tell my sort of story and everything.
TV shows.
TV shows.
What kind of TV shows?
I think last year or the year before, because I'm very bad on dates, it was Survivor, $1 Million Island, some other one, all that. They all want me on there for, I guess, the party aspect and all that kind of stuff. But when I tell them some truths, they don't like it, because I said, hey, if I'm on there for a 24-hour show and filming, if I want to dive into someone and have a conversation with them, I'm not going to be stopped by anybody. They're like, what do you mean? Well, I'm not going to have you tap me on the shoulder going, oh, Corey, we can't say that on Ning. You guys are filming us for 24 hours a day. Don't put it in the edit. Simple as that. Don't tap on my shoulder and say, hey, when I'm having a heartful conversation with somebody and I'm opening up, I'm going to be tapped on the shoulder going, Corey, you can't do that for TV. It's a bit too controversial. Fucking don't put it on.
Yeah, and I guess
so
it's
once
like
again, they didn't like that, bro. And
they've always owned your narrative, right? So the media's always owned your narrative, and I guess you're fucking sick of it. You're sick of people owning your narrative when you've never really had a go to be able to tell your own story.
And don't treat me as a poster boy. Don't just treat me as the party kid who's a poster boy. I've gone through some shit as well. Bro, I'll still out party anybody. And that's the funny thing. I will. Challenge me and I will, bro. That's the funny thing. I can still party and out drink and skull. That's another thing. I've got the best sculling. No one will beat me on that, brother. It's funny as.
That's good.
But yeah, the media just have been so toxic over.
So you just decided to just basically take a step back, and even when these stuff comes through, because of the relationship you have with the media, you just basically avoid it.
I do things in here and there, but I've been funnily enough to stay out of enough of. I've done some events, I've done some parties, I've done some other business stuff, but I've stayed out of having to, I guess, use social media, what everyone does, because it is a good platform to use to help to promote yourself, promote your business. I've just done it without using social media in some sense like that, which is funnily enough because I would have been awesome to use it, but I've just been off it, and I've just worked.
And why do you think people are still so obsessed by what happened in 2008? Do you know, or you just sort of have zero idea and you're just like...
It's like an urban legend now or something like that, bro. It's like a part of Australian history. A lot of people contact me over those sort of stuff. Say, hey, Corey, you're like an urban thing. You're like this. You're part of the pop culture or whatever of Australian culture, whatever it is. I don't understand. No idea. It was just, I guess, some kid standing up to, I guess, an adult figure, a teacher, your mum and dad, whatever you want to say, your principal. That's what it was like. Layla McKinnon was...
I also think that you were the beginning of social media. There's millions of people doing what you did now, right?
Yeah.
That are going viral and by doing crazy stuff or whatever. But you were the beginning of that. No one really knew how to understand it and what to do. And the media sort of saw that there was this uptake of outrage from old people and support from young people.
Yeah.
And they took it and ran with it, right? But now it's this is something that happens all the time. But I think that probably the reason, this is my opinion, of why it's still kind of like you said, like an urban myth or legend. I think it's so iconic because it was the first viral social media moment probably in history. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think it's going to, in 20, 30, 50, 60, 70 years time, every time there's a new decade, your story's going to come back out again, which is wild because you're talking a 30-second fucking snippet on current affair, right? So I'm going to wind back to the thing with recovery because I know you're really passionate about recovery on your legs. So it kind of go back, obviously the incident happened. You kind of got left effectively, not for dead, there's probably exaggeration, but you got left in a pretty compromising shit position.
How I feel it was for dead. At the end of the day, it wasn't for dead because I didn't die, but you left me for no reason. I was clearly injured. So my time, I think it was 12 o'clock a.m. in the morning. So I went, do you know what's going to be the quicker option? Call ambulance, which is probably 20 minutes away, or do I call an Uber? Funnily enough, Ubers were in there. I called an Uber. The legendary Uber driver ran out of his car, picked me up, ran me into his car, took me to the hospital and everything. But yeah, it changed my life completely.
You couldn't walk.
I didn't get a walk. I've had multiple, 6 surgeries, 7 surgeries. I was having one where all my toes were clawed over like that, and they wanted to cut all my tendons to release. And yeah, put a bit of CBD balm. We'll get into that later as well. And that stuff just
Well,
went
the CBD balm stuff you make
warm.
yourself, and so you feel as though it's something that's really helped you. Corey actually gave me a tub of it,
Yep.
and because I had some neck issues, and I rubbed it on it, and I'm not gonna lie, it fully has helped me. So we won't get into full depth, but it's something that you've made yourself, and it's really helped you with your chronic pain, right? And I know you're super passionate about this, so that's why I wanted to bring it up and make sure we could talk about it.
Yeah, so I'm passionate, bro. So like, pretty much step back, like it would have been, I think, my 6th or 7th surgery. They wanted to cut my tendons here and release the toes. I had someone said, "Hey, Corey, can you try this balm?" I rubbed it on. Within minutes, it just went like that. They just stretched out. It was crazy. Real time in your face. It was just like, oh my God. Grabbed the balm off him, went back after using it on other bits of my foot and everything. He goes, "Corey, I'm already looking after 50 people." I said, "No stress. I'm a pretty smart guy. I know how to do some stuff." I went, "You know what? I'm going to start making it for myself, but I can't make it just for myself because there's so many people I meet day to day with injuries, and that's all I've done. Honestly, I've probably spent tens and tens of thousands of dollars over this since I've been injured, bro, and never took anything. I don't take anything. I just do it because I feel for people's injuries. I've got a chronic injury. I've got here, but this is one of the worst, and it's just sitting here. It just feels like someone's just smashed me in the foot. Bang, bang, bang. So for me to make something which can help people, and I've seen it to help people with so many, like as you said with yourself, like it's beautiful. So that's what I'm trying to do now, is just help people with the CBD, let them know about that. My shoes is another thing.
That's the thing with me, like, and I guess I've known you for well over a decade now, and every time I saw you and then I saw how you were portrayed, it didn't make sense to me, right? So I saw you when you were younger and you were very quiet and you were soft and reserved, but passionate. And now as an adult, I see you as someone who's super passionate still, hardworking, great father, and then I'll probably say fourth to that, someone who's fucking wants to help people. So you're always so accommodating. Like even when we have conversations, it's always like, how can I help you? What can I do to do this? It's always other people first. And if anyone wants to watch the media, and this is why I really wanted to talk to you so much, is that I just feel like you've been crucified for someone who you're not. The character that you play is not you. And I really wanted to go into that because I know that like with the balm stuff, as soon as I saw you and I said my neck was sore, you made it for me and brought it straight to me. And that's the Corey that I know, if that makes sense. So
I had a friend the other day saying he's got groin pain. It's one of the worst things. Boom, I made something up for him and all that just to give to him. Like as soon as someone tells me they're suffering through pain, if I've got something what I can help them with, I just do. And that's another thing with my shoes. So like these shoes called Hoka shoes, they've got like a rocker technology because I've got no plantar flexion in my toes at all. It doesn't move. It's like a stiff nothing. These shoes allow me to walk, allowed me to go back to work, allowed me to live life again, run around with my daughter, go on holiday again. So all I do now, if I see anybody with knee injuries or any type of injuries, I think these shoes can help, I walk straight up to them. "Hey, how you going? My name's Corey, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, I'm just..." And they sometimes a bit standoffish because I'm all tattooed and sometimes I'm a bit excited. But once they realize, and I'll always take my shoes off, or I try to get these people to try my shoes on if they want. I'll walk through the pain and show them what my foot is like because I think, hey, you're walking similar to how I'm walking. This might be able to help you. And I've helped so many people with that, bro. Like the most recently one was literally someone who had nerve damage from his neck and back, but his leg allowed him not to walk. And he was no plantar flexion. So I walked up to him and, "Hey, mate, blah, blah, blah." Just explained to him. He was going straight after work. He was blown because in his mind, he's had it since he's 20. He's now 50 years old. So 30 years, this guy's been suffering through that. But I could see it like a little kid in his eyes. He was like, that's going to help me. That's going to change my life too.
And that fires you up.
That fires me up, bro. That's awesome. That's awesome knowing like there's something on here that allows people to walk. Like they might look like funny things, but this technology here has so many applications for injury. My missus, when you're pregnant, and if you're a bit off balance when you're pregnant, you've got a big belly. I said, "Hey, try the slide version." She tried them on straight away, gave her support. She wasn't off balance the belly. She just felt walking around normal. My mate, who's like walks over like a hunched person like that, put these on. They straight away supported his back and everything and just gave him just a nice posture. There's so many applications for these shoes, what they can do. And mine is just spreading the message and letting people know like what they can do. Like I'll take my shoes off I can't do anything. I put these on, you can't even tell I'm
See,
injured.
I saw you take your shoe off and you couldn't walk, and then you put them on, you were jumping like in the middle of King Street.
Yeah, and it all just comes down to like,
Like a metre up in the
just
air.
a rocker sole, just something that allows you just to roll through it. Like that these shoes were created for long distance running, people doing long distance running and cross country where your ankle joints get stuffed and they
worst for
can't go
injuries.
anymore. But they've slowly made their way into, I guess, people with injuries and everything. But Hoka, mate, you need to push a lot more than just sports shoes. Like, your shoes can change people. They can return to work. Like, I'm hoping you guys are going to do a work boot soon as well, like that, because I returned to work in these shoes. So these aren't steel caps. The boss allowed me to return to work. Simple as that. But literally, I went through these and they survived. This leather, this under here, they managed to be work boots, but they weren't steel caps in some sense. But I returned to work because I wanted to support my daughter. So yeah, and these are the only shoes I can wear. Like, don't get me wrong, brother, I love Converse. Converse are my number one always shoes. I've always grown up in Converse, but I just can't wear them anymore. Like, I even designed my own Converse shoes with rocker soles on them and everything at the start to allow me to walk in Converses again and everything like that. But Converses just aren't the comfiest shoes inside.
Especially for someone with an injury.
Yes, so Hoka started to get better and better, and they've gone even crazier over the last years. And their shoes just got better, where all I do is live in Hokas. I'm either in bed or in the shower. Otherwise, I'm in shoes. These are my feet. That's what I explain to people. I don't walk without these.
Yeah. So I know we've just gone through like 2 or 3 different stories. Stories that probably people don't know or aren't privy to because you've been a relatively conservative person and not really told anybody. I know that they're 3 of fucking 100, and there's a million different stories.
Oh, there's so many, mate.
And I know your story. Like, when you told me, and we've spent hours you telling me, I was fucking blown away. So, and I know now that you're probably looking at, again, like, this is probably the first step maybe of you owning your own narrative, and you're pretty excited to sort of start telling people the impact and the stories of what happened post-party rather than just talking about the fucking party all the time.
Yeah.
There's obviously heaps of stories. I know there's one that you're pretty passionate about now. And again, it goes back to, I guess, the media harassment you've continued to have for the last 15 years. You recently went to court and it was back in the media and they chased you around. I saw it on TikTok and YouTube and whatnot, and basically shoved cameras in your face. And I know it's something that you didn't get a chance to defend yourself because, again, they own the narrative. Went on Instagram and talked about it a little bit. Do you want to touch on that for a little bit before we wrap up?
Yeah, why not? So let's go back, say, 6 months of last 2023. So literally I went on, my boss hadn't paid people. I'm not going to go to who it is, but hadn't paid people for 2.5 weeks. I had blokes crying to me, crying to him, mortgages in arrear, everyone's suffering. So what I did, I couldn't go home and look after my daughter. I went and pulled out 15 grand out of my own money to support all these people, give them money. And then literally, obviously the boss didn't like that. He would have taken a bit of a chip on his shoulder. Next day, he tries to not burn the joint down, but smoke the joint out with harmful chemicals. Same thing. I stand up for people. We all got to go home to our loved ones. I called him out. I lost my job over it. I ended up winning the unfair dismissal case later. And then boom, then the court happened. And then it was like, court now want to throw me in and make me out to, like, when I find him on the street, when my missus is telling me when I'm coming home, she's crying on the couch. And I go, babe, what's wrong? She tells me. I go, how many blokes are there? 2, 3 could be. Okay, boom. Went straight to my garage, picked up some spanners, drove straight there. I didn't meet this guy. I don't know this guy.
So you just think about protecting your family, yeah.
Simple as that. Nobody should touch your missus, or nobody should touch your family. So I burst through the door. Somebody else there. So once again, I had no problem with this guy. He didn't do it. He never touched my missus. She never mentioned him or anything. So I asked him, where is he? Where is he? He called him. And then literally said, he's coming back from the shops. I went to go on the street. I ran around for 20 minutes trying to find this guy just to confront him. Finally found him after, however, 20 minutes. It is. They're saying he's 67 years old. He's like a 50-year-old man. That's what my police report says. He's like 51, 52. Not my fault you look 70, mate. But at the end of the day, I confronted you. No, but people need to know this. I confronted him. I didn't just smack him straight away. I said, hey, mate, did you do this? I described my missus. He knew who I was talking about to a T because you could see it in his eyes. He started going, what? That what robbed me? That what did this? I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? Oh, well, tried to rob me recently. I said, what? My fucking baby mama who's at home with my kids, you're accusing her of fucking robbing you, and that's what you think you're allowed to assault a woman? That's when I fucking hit him. So he already told me he knew what he did because he did what he did because she supposedly tried to rob him. My mother or the kids tried to rob. Suppose that's what he said. No fucking bullshit, cunt.
Yeah, no shit.
So that's,
So then you went to court for that, and then the media literally just spun it as bad as they possibly could to make you.
Of course they will, because once again, I told them I'm not afraid of them. Like, I wish on my Instagram when I did my little rant, they said I should have called it out, because I said, guarantee they're going to make this guy look like a grandfather. They're going to make this guy look like a fucking A-list fucking person to make me look bad, because I've gone and filmed them. I've gone and chucked the cameras in their face for once, because once again, they were smiling. When I was telling my story about my missus, both the bold one and the woman were both smiling about my missus and what happened to her. That's when I started to whip out my phone and go, do you know what? Let's get you guys. Let's get you guys.
I guess you just had enough, right? Like, it's 15 years of effectively harassment, and you were a 16-year-old fucking boy when it happened. I know we keep saying it, but it's like it was probably a boiling point for you, right? You're just like, I'm fucking so sick that everything I do, I sneeze, and you guys make out like I've created a fucking hurricane, right?
100%. It was, dude, like he tried to assault my missus.
And he stuck up for himself, yeah.
And she got and pushed him away and ran away. What the fuck am I meant to do? Like, if you don't have the balls to stand up, call the cops.
That's what you do. You protect your family. You protect the ones you love.
Brother, 100%. And the other thing what pisses me off the most, the reason my missus went there, because she didn't know anybody. Like, we've both got TGA approvals and all that kind of stuff. She didn't know anybody. So she asked a friend, hey, I need to get something. This person said, hey, go to this person. That's how it was. She was getting it for a balm for me. So it wasn't even to fucking smoke it. It was to get it for a balm to help somebody else, for me to help somebody. And she got assaulted. So that's another thing. I've literally was getting the weed to turn into a fucking balm to give to somebody to help them.
Yeah, yeah.
And look what happened.
Yeah.
My missus got assaulted. I took it into my own hands and, oh, Corey's a bad guy. But no. Corey was just trying to help people. Simple as that.
Yeah,
All I want to do is just help. If you get to know me, I'll fucking help you, bro. Like, and especially with injuries and pains, no one should suffer them. And if I've got something that can help people, that's all I'm about.
Yeah. So basically winding up, these are a couple of stories of 100. I know we've sat down, we've talked about it. I know you. The more interesting stories about you after and post the party than the actual party itself. That's probably the most boring of all the stories that I know about you.
Boring as.
So, and I know that you and I have been doing some work, so I guess this is a bit of an exclusive, but Corey and I have been talking to a very well-known, well-prestigious, famous documentary maker about telling that next part of your story where you haven't really spoken on, and all the trials and tribulations and the effect and the aftermath and I guess the impact that this event happened that went viral online, and from your side, your perspective. So I wanted to drop that here while Corey's here, and stay watching, because I reckon this is going to be a banger, and I fucking can't wait for Corey to tell his side, because in my opinion, if people are still persecuting a 16-year-old that made a mistake, every 16-year-old in fucking Australia should be getting persecuted. So watch that space, and Corey, I think you're as excited as me about that.
Yeah, man, I am. Can't wait.
And I want to say thank you so much for coming down today, man, spending your time with me. And I know this is probably the first time you've actually got to sit in a situation like this and open format.
Just get to have a chat. Yeah. So it's very nice. So thank you for letting me just get to have, my say as well. And just, like I said, you've only scratched on a very small surface of what happened over the last 16 years. There's a very interesting...
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
Events.
So I would like to say, as a last wrap-up, obviously WP Shots, they are my sponsor for this. I couldn't make this happen without them. So you get the option to be able to pick from one of the brands. So currently we've got here the Sourpuss Grape, we've got the OG Wet Kitty, WP Shots, and we've got a Sour Strawberry. So one of these I'd love to gift you on behalf of my sponsors as a thank you for coming down today.
I'll have to go with the OG, brother. The original what started it all.
There you go, man. Thank you so much for coming down, and I'm sorry that I'm about to knock you off the #1 perch for Australia's biggest party boy.
That's all right, brother.